The relations between Russia and China have reached an unprecedented high level, according to Russian President Vladimir Putin, after the meeting in Kremlin. Chinese President Xi Jinping and Russian leader Vladimir Putin sat down for talks at the Kremlin, indicating a new close relationship between the two nations. Increasingly close relationship between the two former Cold War communist rivals has been visible recently as Xi Jinping arrived in Moscow. Putin and Xi met in Russia as world leaders gathered on the south coast of England to mark the 75th anniversary of the D-Day landings. Now, during the talks at the Kremlin, Putin said Xi's visit was a key event in the relations between the two countries this year. Xi Jinping is expected to spend 3 days on the state visit to Russia that coincides with the annual St. Petersburg International Economic Forum. He will also commemorate the 70th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic ties between the two countries. Xi's visit comes as the trade war between the US and China continues to put pressure on both economies. In the recent years, China and Russia have aligned their foreign policy positions at the UN and for major international crises such as Syria and Iran. And China on Wednesday made a further advance in its goals of becoming a technological superpower when it successfully launched a rocket from a sailing ship. A long March 11 carrier rocket blasted from the launch pad set up aboard a commercial ship in the Yellow Sea. This was the first instance of China launching a rocket from sea, making it only the third country after US and Russia to master the sea launch technology. Sea launches offer a closer launch position to the equator. Such launches require less fuel to reach the orbit and thus bring down the overall launch cost. The rocket will place 5 commercial and 2 weather monitoring satellites into space. Having the technology enables China to meet the growing demand of launching low-inclination satellites. China can also access the seas. China can also offer launch services to nations participating in its Belt and Road Initiative as well with this launch. And finally, Thailand's new parliament has picked the military junta leader Prayut Chan-o-cha as the country's civilian prime minister. This comes 5 years after he led a coup and seized power from an elected government as the army chief. Thailand's March 24 general elections has been deemed contentious and flawed by both critics and the opposition parties. The opposition has said that the elections were designed to guarantee Chan-o-cha a win and, in fact, legitimize military dominance over the government. Prayut Chan-o-cha secured enough votes in a combined ballot by both the houses of parliament. The one of the houses has been entirely appointed in a process controlled by the junta.
ต้องถือว่าพลเอกประยุทธ์จันทร์โอชาได้รับคะแนนเสียงมากกว่ากึ่งหนึ่งของจำนวนสมาชิกทั้งหมดเท่าที่มีอยู่ของทั้งสองสภาแล้วจึงถือว่าพลเอกประยุทธ์จันทร์โอชาได้รับเลือกตามมติของรัฐสภาให้ดำรงตำแหน่งนายกรัฐมนตรี
Prayut defeated the charismatic leader of the opposition Democratic Front. The front was comprised of 7 parties that wanted to remove the military from Thai politics.
I'm disappointed, I'm sad, but it is expected. There's nothing unexpected tonight. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to campaign harder. I'm going to work harder. The result tonight shows one thing, that we haven't worked